Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, hi, welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. I hope you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So we're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani. Show me the money. Get $700 million in the media talking about how he's only making $460 million. It's all deferred. He's still getting paid. Anyway, he did something rather historic on Friday night. And he's up there with some rather interesting figures in the history of the game, of this 40-40 club. And I have a question. It's not going to be well liked if you like Shohei Ohtani. But if you look at this list, it's very interesting who's on this list. This is from CBSSports.com. Headline: Shohei Ohtani joins 40-40 club with walk-off grand slam. Dodgers star is sixth to hit 40 homers, steal 40 bases. 3 of the other 5 are very controversial, very divisive figures in the history of the game. Ohtani is also the fastest in NLB history to reach that benchmark. There's a new member of the 40-40 club. Friday night against the Tampa Bay Rays, Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani hit his 40th home run of the season and also stole his 40th base to become the 6th player ever in the 40-40 club. He got there in the only 129 team games, by far the fewest in history. Ohtani stole his 40th base after reaching on an infield single in the 4th inning. The 40th home run was as dramatic as it gets. Ohtani clubbed a walk-off grand slam off of lefty Colin Poche, I guess. It was his first career walk-off home run. Now, well, we'll get into it. I mean, the names on this list. My goodness. This is the 3rd time in the last 4 years Ohtani has hit 40 home runs in a season. I would mention that he's probably going to win the MVP in the National League. There are going to be other guys out there that are up there. Marcell Ozuna, the wife strangler, the Mets superstar shortstop, and probably future captain of the Mets, Francisco Lindor, is going to get a lot of votes. But Ohtani's going to win. He's slugged 46 homers in 21 and 44 in 23. And both times went on to win MVP unanimously. The 40 stolen bases are a career high, though. Ohtani's previous career high was 26 in 2021, when he went 26 for 36 stealing bases. This season, he's an incredible 40 for 44. It certainly seems like 40 was a goal for Ohtani. He stole only 5 bases in April, 8 in May, and 3 in June. Since then, he's stolen 12 bases in July and now another 12 in August. Ohtani got more aggressive on the base paths as the 40-40 season became a real possibility. There's enough time left in the season that he has a chance at the first 50-50 season ever. As noted, no player reached 40 homers and 40 steals in fewer team games than Ohtani. Here are the five other members of the 40-40 club and when they reached the milestone. And these are the first 2 are the last 2. And they are by far milquetoast and not controversial at all whatsoever. Ronald Acuna, last year, the Atlanta Braves, hit 41 home runs, stole 73 bases last year. And game 154 is when he reached both the 40-40 mark. Alfonso Soriano, in 2006 for the Washington Nationals, hit 46 homers, 41 stolen bases. He reached that in 153 games. Now the next 3. These are some of the most controversial players of the last 30 years in Major League Baseball, if not in all baseball. There might be a handful are just as controversial, but these guys, well, the only guys I can think of that are probably just as controversial in the history of the game is Ty Cobb, Pete Rose. I think that's pretty much it, and a few other guys that aren't on this list. Of recent note, Alex Rodriguez, 1998, for the Seattle Mariners. 42 home runs, 46 stolen bases in game number 153. Barry Bonds, San Francisco Giants, 1996. 42 home runs, 40 stolen bases in game 160. And the first and the last name on this list, and really the first 40-40 man, is Jose Canseco of the Oakland A's. In 1988, won the MVP in 1988 in the American League, 42 home runs, 40 stolen bases in game number 154. Now, nowhere in this article, they do not discuss what these last three names are known for in the history of the game. Jose Canseco, he is like the whistleblower of the steroid era. He told everybody that would listen who was doing steroids, who wasn't doing steroids in baseball. Just a recent note, he has claimed, and he's a big steroid guy, hit over 400 home runs, over 1,000 RBIs. This guy is a known steroid user. You know, he, along with Mark McGwire, injected each other before games. This is well documented from Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco has said just within the last few weeks that there are 5 Hall of Famers in the Hall of Fame that use steroids. I can think of 2 or 3 off the top of my head. The other 2 I'm very unsure of. But 3 of them I know one of them is definite. That's David Ortiz. He failed a drug test. The other 2 I have suspicions, and the other 2 I'm not sure who they are. But he has been right on the money. Every time he mentioned a player having done it, they all did it. Every single one of them. Every single one that he said was doing it, he was right. Every time. He's not the most, not the greatest source of things, but when it comes to this, he's been right, and he knows. He would know. Now, again, the next guy, Barry Bonds, all-time home run hitter in the history of Major League Baseball, surpassed Henry Aaron, and it was, the controversy was so bad with him that Hank Aaron did not acknowledge his home run total. Also, Bonds was involved with this criminal case where he was just a side note of it, and people were admitting that he had done steroids when he played. One being an ex-girlfriend who mentioned hair on the back, acne on his back, hair loss, and shrunken testicles. I heard this joke years ago. If you're ever on trial, folks, make sure you never have anybody that talks about your shrunken testicles. Don't ever. Whatever you do in life, don't find yourself in that situation where it's in court. And Bonds was a guy who is believed to have gotten very testy. That's not a good word. Got very testy. Yeah, very prickly. It's not even a good word either. When it came to seeing Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa getting all the accolades in '98, the belief was that he was doing it right after that. But I believe he was doing it long before that. I don't think he was doing it that much, but I believe he was probably doing that long before that. That's my own personal opinion. If you want my opinion, and this is a commentating show and an opinion show, I believe he was probably doing this as early as 1990. Because the first 4 years, he didn't hit for any power. And in 1990, boom, it was like all of a sudden, he batted third, and all of a sudden, you got a totally different player that went, leadoff hitter to a number 3 hitter. He went from 20 home runs to 35 home runs. It was very odd. But anyway, and then the next name on this list is probably one of the goofiest players in terms of personalities, and this is Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, who failed multiple tests. And we all know about the famous one, the first one, which it was leaked by somebody within Major League Baseball, leaked his name and David Ortiz's name connecting that he failed a steroid test. You know, so performance enhancing test. And A-Rod's not in, but David Ortiz is in. So kind of a, I don't know, very strange thing. But these three players in particular brings me back to Ohtani. How is Ohtani doing this? I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but the fact that 3 of the 6 names on this list are known steroid users, red flag should be going up everywhere about this particular player, this unicorn from Japan, who is also a pitcher. Nobody's been able to be successful as a pitcher and as a hitter. Okay? This is no jealousy here. I don't care one way or the other. You know. I also would mention this. He's never made a team better. He never made the Angels better. Okay? Never made them a great team with him at the top of the rotation. I'm just being fair. Just calling it like I see it. And I would also mention this. There is, I heard a story about Babe Ruth. How he didn't think when he played that he could do both. That it was very difficult to do both. Pitch and be an everyday player every day. Now, the playing conditions were different. They didn't have the DH then. DH didn't come in until 40, 50 years after Babe Ruth retired and passed away. I understand that. And Babe Ruth didn't play against the Negro Leagues. I understand that. But there's been 70 years since integration in baseball, and nobody's doing what this guy is doing. Common sense tells you something's up. Anyway, as I douse all the cold water on the 40-40 man, but like I said, this is a very infamous list because 3 of the 5 guys prior to this were major steroid guys. Guys that had numbers off the charts, particularly Bonds in particular. Bonds was a Hall of Fame player prior to this, and he took off with the steroids. A-Rod, there's some suspicion that he was already doing it, according to Jose Canseco. That's not me saying this, is Canseco saying it. He knows these guys when he played against them and what their habits and his own habits are or were. That, you know, anyway. Thank you for watching this fun video. This is not exactly what you wanted to watch. I'm sure. I apologize. But I think it needs to be talked about, and this channel is very different. This little channel is very different than my big channel, and I do talk about things that make people uncomfortable. And this is nothing against Ohtani. I'm sure he's a delightful weirdo. I'm sure he's a delightful guy. With the dog that he doesn't want to tell people is the dog's name. You know. Anyway. Thank you for watching this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Head too, and I'll see you later.